Alright, I'm going to be teaching you how a wing lifts. Let's start with the basics. So, basics of a wing. There's different components, different names for, each point. So, we have the trailing edge, lower cambridge, leading edge, and upper cambridge. To make things simpler, the top, the bottom, upper cambridge, lower cambridge, and then from each edge. So we have the trailing edge and the leading edge. So, from the trailing edge and the leading edge, there's an imaginary line called the chord, which is just, from point to point. The next thing about it is relative wind. So basically, when you're flying and the wind goes up and down, it creates an upwash and a downwash. It's pretty basic. So it just creates a huge amount of dynamic force. So as you can see, the wind's going up this direction and then is going down. So that's just the relative wind. And another really important part is Bernoulli's law. Airflow speeds up, pressure drops, creates a lower pressure as it passes over the top of the wing. It creates oncoming air to flow much faster. So, as we can see from here, this is the wing. We have the upper streamline and the lower streamline. So, let's start with the lower streamline. So, with the lower streamline, it's lower velocity, lower airflow, and it's just a longer distance, as you could tell, just longer to travel. And then you have like the high pressure, going on both sides actually, high pressure. With the upper streamline, it's a higher velocity of airflow and it's a shorter distance. Okay, so the next portion is called the angle of attack. Short for it is AOA. So basically, when you pull back the yoke or the controller, the nose goes up. To show you what it looks like, so, let's just say you're on the runway, you're taxiing, until you reach that speed. You pull back on the yoke, that's going to cause the airplane to go up, right? You're going to keep on going up, up, up until you reach a cruising altitude that's, desired. Whatever. So, how it works in other terms. So, the greater downwash is created as the flow exits the back of the wing, and it creates a substantial increase in the angle of attack. So, when you pull back, it creates to go up, and then, you get the cruising altitude. But aeronautical terminology, when you pull back, the elevator goes up and causes the airplane to rotate around the three lateral axes. And if you guys are wondering, the three lateral axes are the longitudinal axis, the lateral axis, and the vertical axis. Okay, 4 forces acting upon an airplane in flight. So, first off, we have lift, gravity, thrust, and drag. Each has an opposing force, opposing meaning against each other. So, showing with the airplane, with the airplane, this is our center of gravity, right? And we know that gravity weighs us down. So we have gravity, lift, thrust, and drag. And what I meant by opposing force, they each have something that works, against each other. So thrust, what works against thrust is dragging it. So, because, thrust is trying to bring us this way, drag is bringing us that way, opposite. And then, the gravity making us fall down, and then lift bringing us up. So opposing forces. Alright, now the 2 natural forces and 2 artificial forces. 2 natural forces are drag and gravity, and then artificial are thrust and lift.